Greetings once again, fellow gaming fans. This is Small Archangel. Welcome back to Rising World. It's been a while since we were in this part of Rising World, and the view outside the window has changed a little bit. The water update dropped last night, and oddly enough, I was going to do a video on the water update, but when I logged into the game, I found, as probably many other people did, that actually there's something else that needs dealing with rather more urgently. And that is this slight problem that a lot of us have experienced, maybe all of us have experienced with our pre-created world, of big holes in the terrain. If I just use F2 here, you can see what I mean. This is a prime example. And I woke up to the update getting all excited about finding water, and the first thing I saw was this. Now obviously that is far from ideal. Nonetheless, there is something that can be done about it, and I decided, having found this out for myself, that I'd do a bit of a video demoing it just in case anybody else like me wants to save their worlds. Now this world here is not so bad now. There are some rents still in it. Actually, those ones have healed themselves, and sometimes they do that, and sometimes they do not. Any that remain the world when you go all the way up to them, you need to do something about that. And mostly they are around the immediate edges of the area that you have inhabited and changed. That one over there, for example, will probably disappear when I go closer to it. This is something that we can entirely justify using cheat mode for. So I'm going to show you how to deal with this. Now, the devs are aware of this problem. I think there are some people who can't even get into their worlds at all, so I guess if we can access our worlds at all, we should probably count ourselves lucky. But if in the meantime you don't want to wait for the devs to try and sort it out, and you've already converted your world and this is what it's done to you, this is one way of dealing with it. Might take a few mouse clicks, but it's worth it to save all that effort. Okay, so first thing we're going to need to go into creative mode, and for that you need your console, set game type 1, and then we've got our creative tools. Now I did one video where I use these, but if you're like me and you like your survival, mostly you won't use creative, so you won't be so familiar with this, as I was unfamiliar until I was forced to deal with this. Now what we need is F5 for terrain tools for this, and the one I've mostly used for these small rents is the smooth terrain, which is you hit 2 for that. If you hit G, you can actually choose the shape of the tool, and I mostly use a square one because it's a little bit larger. Now right click will smooth upwards and left click will smooth downwards, so you can use either will be effective, and as you can see it just joins those edges together and effectively zips your world back together. Now it can be difficult to see where the rents are thanks to the grass, yes, the infernal grass, which looks so pretty but gets in our way, but mostly if you just give it a fair few clicks upwards or downwards, right or left mouse button, it doesn't really matter, that should do the trick, and you should see those holes closing up. Now obviously this takes a little while, as I say, but potentially less time and less risk than waiting for the devs to try and do something, because who knows if this could actually be fixed. If you start a new world, you won't have this problem, but if you want to save your old one, then you will. There we go. If I use the left left mouse button now, I can actually smooth out that sort of ridge which almost looks like a seam. There we go. Now I've actually found the odd cave where there's a hole in the ground as well. Just one, I think. But for that you probably need the add and subtract tool. Now we're going to need the same thing for fixing this here. Now believe it or not, I've actually fixed 3 of these. It's almost as if the game simultaneously decided that there's a hill and flat land, and there's no water even in sight, so this yeah, this update has sort of played merry hell with some bits of our terrain, so what we need to do is to get that to lie flat again. Now, as I say, I'm not massively familiar with these tools, but they are quite powerful if you know what to do with them. Now, if we click on return when we are using the smooth terrain tool, we can level. Now, this is not an ideal one to use here because it will try and level the terrain to sort of a higher level, which isn't great. I'm not sure, because there's a hole there, it's probably not going to work, that tool. So I'm going to use the add and subtract tool. Here, left click, subtracts, kind of digs a hole. Oh, beg your pardon, the other way around. Right click, removes, and left click, adds, and builds a great big pile like that. And this looks kind of weird when you've got one of these sort of handkerchiefs of land that are stuck up in the air like this, because, yeah, it sort of looks flat. It looks like there's just a flap of grass sticking up, but you can see when you dig down into it, there is actually grass, there is actually a lot of soil there, and it will just go down into a great big cave, which you can then see from this side, which is really bizarre and mind-bending actually, and can sort of do your head in. But if you stay above it like this, you can just flatten it down like this. And I suppose you could make a mountain, you could also do it the other way like this, and you could gradually build up on this side until the two meet in the middle. I don't know, it depends entirely on what your preference is. Either one is sort of fraught with potential difficulties, like that tree in a way, for example. And either one is going to take a little while, but suffice it to say, it can be done. Myself, I prefer to try and bring the mountain to the ground rather than try and build any more mountain. I'll just fold this bit over like a great big calzone if I possibly can. Well, there we go. It's a lot lower than it was, but in spite of my best efforts, it's about as even as the top of a meringue or the surface of Mars. So it definitely needs some smoothing. So we're going to use the smooth tool now. And first of all, I'm just going to go around the edges to make sure that there's no holes. Because once you've closed these holes in the world, you'll then be able to just dig as per usual, or run over the surface or whatever, and you won't have to worry about it. The world will then have the integrity that it always had before. There we go, and we could use again either button just to bring these edges together, and smooth will also smooth things off so that they're either, well, they're going down or they're going up, but they're meeting in the middle. Now we might have to take this tree out. Its textures are bugging anyway, so for that I'm just going to go back to F4 so that I've got control of my inventory. I don't actually have an axe on me, which is quite strange. Now I do. Under circumstances like this, there we go. Cheating is entirely justified. And back into terrain tools. That's pretty much done now, and it's a lot smoother looking than it was. But of course we have got a great big bald mound which kind of stands out like a sore thumb. But in amongst with our tools we do have terrain painting, which is number 3. Now we can change the terrain paint with the mouse wheel, so you can have anything you like there. Now, one of the downsides of doing this is that by and large you get rid of any ores and things that might have been there. But I guess you can paint them back on. Hellstone, perhaps not. Coal, iron ore, most ores are available there as well. But that really would be kind of cheating, wouldn't it? But we also have grass blades, and you can match these for the area that you're in as well. So we need just the normal green ones here, and we can just literally paint them onto the surface like that. And so that at the end of the day this will look just as it ever did. And we could even bug some flowers and some trees on there if we wanted to, using our creative tools as well, just to really get it to blend in. And don't forget, if it starts getting dark while you're doing this, cheating is allowed when you're trying to save your world. Saving the world, we're allowed to cheat. Stick your cheat light on. L. There we go. It still stands out a bit, so I might kind of change, just blend these edges a little bit with a bit of dirt there. I know for a fact I took some iron ore out of there because I saw it when I did it, so I might just justify bugging a bit of that there. It you know, changes the terrain and makes it look a bit better anyway. And then if we've got any, do we have sand, or there's this sandy stuff here? Sand or gravel. Dry, I think it's dry sand, mud, sand, dry dirt, there we go. This is the kind of dirt that you expect to see in a savanna, so we'll put a bit of that in there because this is just blending into a savanna biome here, and we'll take out some of that green grass there as well. There we are. And you could get quite artistic with this if you really wanted to. And this is where probably we should have done a rounder brush as well, but without getting too without getting too perfectionist about it. There we go. I'll have a little bit more stone there just to blend those hard edges out of there. And then I might just stick a tree up on top of here or somewhere because it looks a bit lacking somehow. We've got some fruit trees around here. Yeah, actually I think what we might do, let's press F6 for placement. We need to press I to bring up our trees and what have you menu. Our trees are down here. Looks to me like we could do with a poplar tree round about there. Fantastic. Anything else, do we reckon? No, I think that's pretty good. I think that's got that blended in nicely. It's certainly a big improvement on what we had before. As for flying animals, you can expect to see a few of those around the place as well. And there's not a lot we can do about those, unfortunately. They always did have a nasty habit of flying through the air, and they're still at it. I suppose we should just wait for them all to realise that gravity is in existence and come down. They normally do, I find. But there we go. That is this world of mine, and you can't see it very well at this point because it's night time. More or less sorted out, in point of fact, and it was absolutely riddled with rents. They were all over the place. So yeah, I'm going to call that done. Now, it's entirely possible that when you travel a little bit further afield, there does look to be a rent over there, but that's now disappeared when I've gone closer to it, so that's not a real one. It's entirely possible that travelling elsewhere in the world will find the same thing, and we'll find some more sort of holes appearing. But now we know how to deal with them when we do, and as I say, you can even use the add subtract tool to repair problems in caves, and I've actually fixed a couple of caves in this world like that as well. So we'll set our game type. Oops. Back to 0 for survival. Take ourselves out of fly mode and hope that we can resume where we left off. Now, this is my sort of creative zone where, in spite of the fact that I didn't really use creative mode to make all of these buildings, I nonetheless just got creative with it. And when we get a true creative mode, I will be back here to go crazy. But in the meantime, I do have all of this work to do in my Let's Play world, which is a different world to this, and so if it takes a little while for me to bring out my next Let's Play episode, you'll know why, because I've got quite a lot of work to do repairing the world before we can carry on there. So wish me luck with that. I hope this has been kind of helpful for anybody who, you know, kind of looked at their new world and didn't think water so much as horror. And yeah, if you liked it, or if you've got any tips to add, bung them in the comments there, hit the like button, and I hope I'll see you guys in the next episode of Rising World with Water. Till then, keep gaming, keep surviving, and stay happy. Bye bye for now.